The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Welcome to the show. It is Tuesday. I'm in Los Angeles, California after an arduous, almost like oh man, I'm already out of it. Donner party kind of excursion that it took to get here yesterday.
Any cannibals?
I ate a couple pieces of my own skin, then I peeled off my fingers because I was having so much anxiety about it. But it was, but I'm here. I'm in my Airbnb on the west side. It feels easy breezy. It's nice outside. I escaped the St. Louis weather, which just cracked last night. It was just got like freezing temperatures. And it got down to like in the 20s last night in St. Louis, which is insane. Andrew, how is it there in St. Louis? Cold as hell,
okay
right?
Here, Nick. Everyone's doing their best. I got multi-layers on. You know, we're just trying to survive. It got cold. It's cold for 2 days, and then it's going right back to 80, like in 2 days.
No way, really?
Yeah.
80?
Yeah. Something like 79 somewhere.
Oh, dear God. Is anything less interesting than the weather? I'm sorry I brought it up. Noah is in Arizona where it's always dry.
It's a cool 72 degrees here in
72,
Arizona.
that's nice.
Look at us with all these different weathers.
Yeah, well, we're all over. We're scattered. We're a scattered crew. But I got in late, so our flight was supposed to be at 7:24 last night, and then I'm reaching for my phone to call the Uber to go at 6:15 because I always play it fast and loose, and I'm getting urgent calls from Chris, 3 missed calls. I'm like, someone's dead or our flight's delayed. So it got delayed so the pilot died. No, our flight got delayed until 10:30, which I was just like, that's a bit, 3 hours. So then I was like, okay, I'll watch some Bachelor in Paradise. I went down to the gym, and thank God Andrew didn't come in and say hi to me. I think it was after your bedtime at that point. I was down at the gym at 9 o'clock.
I went to bed at 9 last night.
Yeah.
I'm literally 140 years old. Anyway, so you went to the gym.
And then I go to the airport. I'm headed there. And then it got delayed till 11. And then they pushed it again. So then I go, and I'm on my way to the airport, and then they undelay, mama, They undelayed it again. They undelayed the flight. So on the way to the airport, I am now late to check in my bags. If you're a pro traveler, you can't check in your bags past 45 minutes before your flight departure. So if you go to the airport and you don't get up to the counter to check your bags 45 minutes before, you do not get to go on the plane. You can't send your bags on the next plane and you take that plane. You got to travel with your bags in case there's a bomb. You got to blow up with your bags too. I guess that's the logic. And so, but it was interesting because I get there and Chris is already there and I go, can you negotiate with them? They just undelayed it. I would have been on time. And so they called in a supervisor. Shout out to the American desk at the St. Louis International Airport, especially Cindy. She fucking killed it for us and
Shout out Cindy.
Yeah, so nice. They were so nice. But there was a guy that came up after us, and he's like, "It's not my fault. I'm on time. They just pushed the flight forward, even though they've delayed it." And then we're like, "Yeah, we know it sucks." And this guy goes, he puts his bag up on so we're getting checked in. They're kind of rushing us. They have to call the manager over to override so we can get on. And so this guy comes up and is like, it's not my fault. I got to check this bag. I'm going to miss my flight. And they're like, yeah, well, that's not our fault either. We don't know what's going on. And so he puts his bag up on the scale and goes, I'm going. And he just leaves before it's checked, before they confirm his ID. He leaves his bag. I've never seen anything like it. And then he heads to security. I'm looking at Chris I have never seen anything like this. Your bag's not going to make it. You can't. By the way, a little side note, if you are at the airport, and I've been traveling now pretty much once every 2 weeks for the past 20 years, okay? I promise you that if you leave your bags alone and you go get lunch or you go walk the terminal for 20 minutes, no one will take your bags. The whole thing about leaving your bags unattended, we will confiscate the bags. Leave them. No one will steal them. No one is a thief in an airport. Everyone's traveling. No one goes there to steal. Your bags will be safe. My bags have never been confiscated. Ask Andrew. I leave my bags all the time. People can't believe it. I can't believe more people aren't doing this. I think people are way too scared of things being stolen. So he leaves the bag on the scale. Never in my life before have I seen anything like this. I'm looking at Chris like, this guy, his bag's not going to make it on the flight. He's gone. It's a nice bag too. It's not like this guy is just like, who cares? I don't care about this bag.
What are the
really
looks
nice.
of these people's faces when he just leaves the bag?
They don't really
go?
seem to notice because they're so worried about our bags because we had 6 bags that are gigantic. Chris brought his bike, so it's this like oddly shaped gigantic bag. So they barely even notice. I'm the one that sees it, and I go, this guy has just left it on. So that there's a scale on the one that we're dealing with, and there's a scale on the other side of the counter. So he left it on that one. So they're kind of aware of it, and they know he needs to get it checked, and he is gone. And I am like, I can't get over it. Chris is like so not even interested, and I'm like, this is mind-boggling to me. What is this guy gonna do? He's on our flight. I see him on the flight. I'm like, there's the guy that left his bag. Who is this man?
Is he in
He's
first
wearing
class? First class or no?
No, he wasn't. He was wearing a aquamarine like 2-piece sweatsuit. He had like really nice like cool like dreads. He was like very like he looked rich and like fancy but he wasn't an asshole about it. He was just like he just was gone. So then we land. Oh, and then another thing happened. We're on the plane. It is packed. It is hot. It was the worst flight I've been on since I flew to Shanghai for a layover in 2013. It was the worst. It was so hot on this flight. And then you go to the back to go to the bathroom and it's like freezing back there. And we're like, can you please? I felt like Elaine on Seinfeld, like, please, for the love of God, can we get, I sleep on every plane no matter what. This is a 3.5-hour journey and I couldn't sleep at all. And I'm desperately tired. It's 11 o'clock at night is our flight. So then there is a guy when we're getting in our seat right in front of Chris that it's a packed flight, by the way. And he says to the flight attendant, yeah, like this seat is like really tight. Like it's like not a lot of room and my legs hurt. And I'm like, who does this guy think he is? What is to be done about this? What do you mean? He goes, is there a seat with more room? And I mean, I'm like, I look at Chris and I go, you won't believe what the guy, because Chris was in the bathroom. He came back. I go, you won't believe what the guy in front of you just asked. And then they came back and said, sir, there are 2 seats in the back where you can have 2 seats
where it's cold.
Open.
Yeah.
And you get, and I was like, I can't believe things are working out for these people that are like, I would never, I'm like, what? Should I light up a cigarette? Like, does anything go on this flight? Should I tamper with a fucking smoke detector? Like, let's get it. This is a free for all. So then we land and I am just in disbelief already. And I'm watching out for Aquamarine. I go, where is that guy? I want to see him at the baggage claim. I want to see if this bag. First bag off the flight is this guy's bag.
Oh my God.
First bag off. I couldn't believe it. This guy. So let it be known that you can just, because do you know how many flights I've missed because they go, sorry, the baggage cut off. You're going to have to take a later flight. So many, not so many, but like a handful. I didn't know you could just leave it. So that's what I learned. I also want to say, I was flying from Denver the other day and I wanted to share the story and I want you to know, I want you to tell me if you think, am I the asshole? AITA. That's like a Reddit thing.
For sure.
Okay, so you're like already, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
moving on. So the news today.
Oh, the story? Oh, the story.
So I'm at the Denver
confused.
airport.
I'm just confused about one thing. Do you think...
Sure.
How long did this guy...
Oh, I forgot to say this guy opened a bank account. Before any of this.
Yeah, I'm true.
That's an important part of the story.
Did he become a pop star? Before he even landed in LA, they're like, "Wait, did he talk to them?"
I was thinking about that yesterday. I was still laughing. Okay, did he talk to them? Okay, so this is what he said.
Because I'm like a little confused because I feel like there had to have been somewhat of a conversation.
So he gets up and he goes, "I'm late." And I think he hands him his ID. He did it because he didn't get a boarding pass. Because even Chris was like, he didn't get a boarding pass. So he checked in on his phone.
Yes.
And maybe he handed them his ID at one point, so they saw it, but it was not there when they were like they weren't printing a ticket for him. They were printing our tickets by the time he left. So there was they would have had to like remember his name from when he quickly handed the ID and then pulled it back because he was like, "Fuck this! This is gonna take too long with all these."
I respect
bags.
Do you have
it.
a
How big
tag?
was his bag? Was it like a bag that he like seemed like
The
he was
bag
going
tag
for a
was
weekend?
not printed by the time he left. It was a huge. It was the size of. It was a giant shell. Clam case, black
Oh,
with
shit.
like gold detailing. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful bag, and I was like, how can he abandon this? It was bizarre, but things just work out. So okay,
Yeah,
I'm
so
in
you're
the
going to
Denver
Denver,
airport.
and you're an asshole. Yeah.
And yes, and so if you've ever been to the Denver airport, it's like you like walk in and then you look down at TSA and it's like a sea of like little lemmings just waiting to go through. Like you can see above the chaos below. So you go down to the TSA pre if you're lucky
like an
enough to do
empire,
that.
it looks like.
Yes, and I see that the clear, which is what I do. To know the difference, TSA is like TSA pre, you pay extra, and then you get to not have to take off your shoes, not have to take out your laptop, and it just goes a lot faster. It's for like more experienced travelers too. People aren't lollygagging. It's just faster.
You can
and
spit
then
on
there's
poor
clear.
People. It's cool. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
It's clear.
that's part of it.
You could throw hot coffee on
Well,
their
clear
heads.
is
Yeah.
where you really get to you get to cut in front of the TSA pre. So clear, you don't even have to show your ID. You just put your fingerprints or you look into this little machine that scans your retinas, and then you don't even need an ID. One time I lost my ID when I was in Los Angeles, and I was like, oh fuck, I gotta go home and I don't have a driver's license. If you've ever gone through airport security without one, you have to go to like a special office. They have to like check your, you have to like talk to the FBI. But I went through and I was like, oh, I have clear. So I just scanned my fingers, no ID needed. And then you go to the front of the line. But the thing is with clear now, so many people have clear. There's a line for clear. It's still faster, but there's a line. So there is a long line for clear. I know immediately that's what's happening. So I see this line and I go and I stand in it. And clear has never had this big of a line before. But it's, a busy day at the airport. I stand in the line and there is a guy that comes in behind me. Now, if you were just walking up to this from baggage check, you're thinking that this line is the line for TSA pre because there's no other line. It's just, the line for the other stuff is like around the corner. But I know it's for pre. And so I get in the line and I'm being kind of like loud about it being I know it's the line for clear.
Being clear about it. Yeah.
I'm just saying it a lot. I'm going like, hey, this is clear. Like I'm trying to tell people because people are waiting in this line who don't have clear and they're going to waste their times. And there's no signs. There's no
I got
one
on that
telling
line by
them.
mistake too. It is very
Exactly.
confusing.
Yes.
And I had
a feeling.
so I needed to be on a different line.
But you were in the clear line because no
Yes.
one's ever seen a clear line before. But I'm trying to make it clear, like Andrew said, and so this guy gets in behind me and he goes, wait, what's clear? And I didn't want to explain what it was, so this is what I said. And you tell me if I'm an asshole. I go, if you have to ask, you don't have it.
Damn.
Because otherwise, here's the other way of saying that.
You show them your black
it's
card
this thing
too?
that you pay extra for, and then you go. The easy answer is if you don't know what clear is, this isn't the line for you. Then TSA pre is the other one. I wasn't trying to sound elitist, but he did look at me like I was insane. But what do you want to? And so the next person asked, "What's clear?" Because I'm now the liaison telling people I'm trying to save people time. So the next person asked, and I didn't like that guy's face. And so I just go, it's this thing where you pay extra money and then you scan your finger. And it's just like, they weren't looking to sign up for clear. They just wanted to know what this line was. But I think it's a fast way to just go, if you have to ask, it's kind of like shopping on Champs-Élysées, they used to say in Paris, like, if you go into those shops, they don't have the price tags on anything because if you have to know what the price is,
you can't
afford it.
Yeah.
And that's not what I was trying to say. It was just like, that's just the easy way to go, get out of here, sir. Like,
Well,
don't
it's
waste
funny
your
too.
time.
Like clear isn't like insanely expensive. Like people probably think it's more expensive than it is too. That's like the funny
It's
part.
$23,000 for 6 months. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
No,
no,
it's
if I have it,
totally
it's not
affordable.
that expensive. Yeah.
No,
it's funny to be like, if you don't know, I guess you just aren't important enough.
I
and
didn't
it's like,
even
it's
mean
$30
for it to
a
come
month.
out rude. I wasn't trying to sound like the pretty woman, like shopkeeper person
Yeah,
of
that's
like,
what I was
you don't
thinking of.
belong here, sir. And he's like, big mistake, huge. But it did come. I was like, oh, that sounded cunty, but it was just the quickest way to say
Yeah,
it.
you said it like you have your own private jet. Like you said it like you were like literally being carried in.
If you have to ask, this isn't the line for you.
You just have an aisle seat, and you're like, yeah, that's who I am.
but
look,
also,
I think if you had, I don't, what did he say after you said that? Did he say like,
he just
okay,
walked
whatever.
away.
Yeah.
He just kind of got it and was like moved on. But I don't think he loved
How
the
many
way
people
I
were
said
in
it.
the
I
line
wasn't saying it.
That weren't clear. That weren't clear though.
So
I feel
kept
like
seeing people get to the front and see the clear sign and go, I've been waiting here for 5 minutes, which 5 minutes is a long time in, TSA wait time. So they're just waiting in this line. No one's telling them. I am often that person that like sees an issue that isn't mine to handle, but people need to know, and I decide to take on the thing because if a door's not working at a place and I keep seeing people like pushing it instead of pulling it, I will sit by that door and just go, you got to pull it before like they walk up to it, because I don't want to see struggle, and I want people to know, or like if there is a menu item that I know, like, oh, you get a free thing with that, I go, oh, you got to pick a chip too. Like I just like, instead of having them go, because people are so just rude to people where they just expect them to know things that they don't know. I think sometimes where people will say, I don't know. It's just, people just go, okay, and so what chip do you want? It's like, well, they don't know you get a chip. Why don't you announce that first? You get like, and then they have to go, what do you mean, what chip do I want? Well, the combo meal comes with a chip, and you could choose from these three. It's just like, I like to just go, you could choose one of these three. Like, let's make this fast. And they go, why are you talking to me, lady?
Do you think if you were on the Titanic?
If you're in this line.
Do you think if you were on the Titanic and they're like,
great question,
you were trying to figure out how to get onto the, the safety, the lifeboats? Do you think you would help direct and save people's lives, or do you think you'd get on the first boat and be like, all right, this is not a time for me to have to tell you what chip to buy?
If I thought that I would try to direct as much as possible, but the second that it became like you might not make it on one, bye-bye. I'm signing up for clear. I am scanning my retina. I'm jumping on. I'm using
now
my
if
privilege.
Chris is there, and he goes, look, they're not letting guys on. They might let me on 4 boats from now, and we could go together.
It's been
Are you jacking
great.
them? Yeah.
This has been a great 9 years. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I will always think of you. And by the way, Chris is a born hero. He would absolutely love to die rescuing other people and giving his life for others. That would be a way in which I know my man would feel good about dying. He told me on his bike trip that he like often goes really fast down hills, almost faster than like their instructor guy who's like a professional biker. And I'm like, well, that sounds like you're being dangerous. And he was like, yeah, maybe, but I just like going fast. And I'm like, what if you die? And he goes, well, then I hope I died like doing what I love. And so I know that's a saying that you hear a lot, but that gives me a little bit of, it makes me so mad though. Chris sometimes doesn't wear a seatbelt. I don't want to talk about it. I am a big
seatbelt. Yeah, you're
safety,
a huge seatbelt head.
Huge. And again, for those of you who haven't heard me eschew about this before, seatbelt wearing is not about the person who's wearing the seatbelt. If you're in a car with someone who doesn't wear a seatbelt, and God forbid you hit a patch of ice and then you hit the road and the car starts tumbling, guess what's going to happen? That person without a seatbelt on is going to tumble all over the car. Their kneecap is going to hit you in the solar plexus, and you're going to fucking die because your friend wasn't wearing a seatbelt. So the next time your friend isn't wearing a seatbelt and they go, I don't care, say, I do. I don't want you killing me. It's not about
I like
you.
Those. It's very usually
it's like the mask
comes
thing,
off as a
when
selfish
people wouldn't
thing.
wear masks.
Yeah, a mask.
It's like it's not about you. It's about other people. I don't care if you don't care about getting COVID. I care about getting COVID from you. But the seatbelt thing really bothers me.
So your brain really goes there, though? You think accident, not that's gonna, or is it more of like an OCD thing? Like you just have to like have it click. Like you need it.
No, it's not OCD. It's about like I will be so sad the rest of my life if this person could have lived because I would have just spoken up and said something. That makes me sad. We got to go to break. We'll discover more of this when we get back. Let's really take this apart. It's Tuesday. I keep thinking it's Wednesday. Welcome back to the show. It's Tuesday. Andrew, what did you do last night? Anything of note? Watching anything good?
Well, I didn't get you texted me to save your plants at 10, and it's funny to
I was headed to the airport.
It's funny to get a text in the morning, and I'm like, dude, what time did she write me? Because I was asleep. Like, you wrote me at 10. It was 10 p.m. It wasn't like it was like 1 in the morning. Save my plants. It was like, so I'm just like my life. I wake up. I'm an early riser. I go to my workout class. I'm literally living the life of a fucking like old man. Like, and it's okay, right? To not stay up late. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like people who wake up early, I think that's like, isn't that every TikTok that you watch is telling you like get up early? Don't you feel finally like one of like Mark Wahlberg or, Jocko Willink or David Goggins? Don't you finally feel like one of those guys? Isn't that your goal, is to be like those guys and like have like a hardcore life and like, isn't it? Like, haven't you like reached that?
I haven't reached that yet.
Rise early, go to a workout class, like get things done. Like,
I do like that. I do like that these days. I've never been that way. I've been more like if the Titanic was going down, I'd be asking for free hot dogs while the boat's going down. Wouldn't that be hilarious? The guy's like, dude, like, I saw this video. Oh my God. It was so
It is a good
funny.
point. Like, the food is going to get spoiled. Why not just give it away?
How did he die? He choked on the 5th hot dog on the way down. Like,
I love that you think the
on...
Titanic had hot dogs, too.
They definitely had hot dogs. The
No
Titanic?
way.
That's all they had, I think, back then. Just brats.
I remember seeing actually a menu from the Titanic, and it had like
plus chips, add chips.
What did they have? It had like this bird, like a starling or something. It was some weird bird that I was like, why are you eating that sweet bird? Okay, so anyway, go on.
Oh no, I just saw a video of I think it was either like a Target or like a Wawa or whatever was getting ransacked, and this person was asking for their sandwich. I guess it was a Wawa, and they were like mad.
Ramsacked?
What did I say?
I think you said
Hacky-sack?
ramsacked.
Yeah.
Is it ransack or ramsack?
I don't know. I think it's.
Which one did you say?
I think I was under attack.
It makes sense. It makes sense that you're like a ram, like it rams into it.
Ramsack makes more sense. Ransack,
So, okay,
though, I guess
let's
seems
go with
like
it.
someone ran in there, they sacked it, they got out of there.
Yeah, I think that's it. So they ransacked a Wawa.
And the person was like asking for a sandwich, and they're like, "Do you see what's going on around?" They're like, "No, extra tomatoes, onion."
Yeah, I don't care.
It was just so
In chaos, asking for something still. I know.
Yeah.
There's sometimes when like even at the Airbnb last night, like Chris was like telling me something important about like his day, or I don't even know. Like there was something like he was talking about something that I should have been like focused on listening, but all I could think about was, I want to know the Wi-Fi code, and my phone was like up. And so you're like, oh, that's so crazy. So what's the Wi-Fi? Like it's almost like, hey, can I get a sandwich in the middle of this other thing? Like it's almost like ADD. Like I need to complete this thing that I have open. And I do that a
happens
lot.
to me
Even
all
with
the time. Yeah.
With my friend Kat in Colorado, she would be in the middle of like telling me a story about her life. And I'm like, could you grab me that cup and then finish like that story? Like it's just, I
But it
can't
doesn't mean
help
you're not
but, like,
listening. Yeah.
No, I will be able to listen so much more if she hands me my mug of tea that I left right in front of her. That's
Yes.
easier for her to get than me getting up and walking over. That's going to be more distracting for me in the story.
Or you're just going to
But
be
yes.
thinking about it until you have it in your hand, and then you're not fully focused on the person talking
Yes.
to you.
Well, I always think about if there was ever a plane crash, how, and I've said this before, sometimes I'm so tired on a plane when it starts getting turbulent. I go, God, I can't deal with a fucking plane crash right now. Can you guys just wait on, I'm too tired to deal with it. Like, I just don't want to interrupt my nap. Like, that's the kind of thing where it's like, I have this need, there's this other thing happening, I can't care right now. Or like if someone were to break in my house, I'm like, not now. I just sat down for a nap.
Yeah.
Like those kinds of things.
Really, Grandma, you died today? I have
Yes.
I have to go to the gym. Like, I gotta do things selfishly.
I'm sorry, but grandmas, unless you were super close with your grandma, skip it.
Oh my God. I
skip
think
it.
I did
Guess
skip
what?
mine.
She's not going to be around for yours. She's going to skip your funeral.
She did skip it. Yeah. Not by choice.
Right?
Maybe. I
So
don't know.
skip it. Just, I mean, people are rearranging their lives for grandma's funeral or great aunts or aunts and stuff. Listen, my aunt died last year. I loved her so much. I convinced myself that she would have been like, Nikki, you go on that Bert Kreischer tour. But honestly, she would have. She loved money and, opportunities. And she's not around to even be there. I've said it before, but just skip grandma's funeral unless you were very close and you need that closure. Otherwise, stop this like doing things for performative sake of like, I need to go because my mom. Well, maybe if your mom needs you to comfort her, that's different. But like, if you're going because you don't want people to be mad at you.
Yeah. I can't tell you.
I don't know.
This sounds really bad, but my grandma Shirley, she died last year. She was 100. And
Right.
I don't even know what happened.
You got to go to
the
that
funeral. No, I didn't go. I don't know what I did.
I'm just kidding. I was kidding.
I don't know what I did.
I just went back totally on my premise.
I think I hit up a Zoom. Or maybe I didn't even go to the Zoom because we had
I
a show.
remember asking you, like, is there going to be a thing? This is the new thing. People like don't have funerals. My Aunt Lynn didn't have a funeral. They had like a memorial where they like talked about her and met in a park. I actually just paid for her and my and my cousin JD, her son, they're both dead now, but he died, 7-8 years ago and she died last year. But my family just can't afford the stuff to, the gravestone and the plot and everything. Like that shit's expensive. And they were just going to go, we'll just scatter her ashes somewhere. And I was like, well, there's not going to be any like record, like can't we just, and they're like, no, it's like, so I paid for it. And it's nice because my dad sent me the gravestone and what they're having etched into it. And he sent me my cousin JD's one. And I was like, I don't know about this. It said just loving. It said John JD Hiller. And then the dates of his birth and death. And then it said loving son. And I was like, what? I go, first of all, let's put beloved son. Because loving son just means he loved his mommy. Like, if you died, would you rather be called loving or beloved? That's my question of the day.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
do you want to know that, do you want people to know that you loved or that you were loved? Because the little narcissist in old Nikki Glaser wants people to know she was loved. And my dad goes, that does mean he was loving. And I go, no, it means he loved. And he was like, oh. And so I changed it to beloved son and the best cuz. And I had to write CUZ because, they don't have a lot of space for the little gravestone I bought.
Yeah, it costs more.
And, and we used to have a secret language called Funty Talk where we used to talk like this. It was like we talked like it was called a Funty Talk. I can't even recreate
like
it.
Game of Thrones almost, like the character.
So I was gonna call it and say he was the fun and the funtiest cuz, but then people would have been like, "What does that mean?" So I just wrote the best cuz. But yeah, what would you like your gravestone to say? Like ideally, we don't have to come up with like the exact thing, but like, what's the vibe? Do you want to joke on it?
Well, one of the jokes I was thinking that like I told you it was really a heart attack, like something like that, like something like a joke off of my anxieties of being a hypochondriac.
Oh, sorry, you cut out right there. What did it say?
Like saying that, like, oh, I told you it was actually a heart attack or something like that. It was really a heart attack.
Oh,
like this time. Like this time I told you. Like it wasn't heartburn.
The boy who cried heart attack turned out.
Yes,
to be right.
That's what he should have.
Yeah.
And just a wolf on there. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Something like that could be funny.
Like if you died tomorrow, because I'm thinking of like, I keep thinking, oh, I'll die when I'm like 80 and then my grandkids will come up with what to say about me and it'll be some inside joke we have by then. But like if I died tomorrow, and the idea that I'll have grandkids at this time in my life, like that means I will have to, okay, so I get pregnant tomorrow, let's say. I give birth in 9 months. So I give birth at the age of 39. And then my kids probably are going to take after mom and not have kids until they're 37. So I have 38 years until I have a grandkid. And in order to have a grandkid that is intelligent enough to come up with something to put on my gravestone, they would have to be at least 16 years old. So 39 plus 16, we're talking about
80,
48
90,
years.
Yeah.
From now. So my age is 38 plus 48. How old will I be before a grandkid
You're
is
like
able
90
to,
years
if I
old.
have a kid tomorrow?
Yeah.
So
like
I'm 90. Okay,
Yeah.
well that's not impossible. I can make it. Okay,
Yeah.
but this is also depressing. I can't even believe how old I am. And I'm nowhere near wanting to have kids. That's the insane part. It's just not even on the radar.
When you're ready.
I did just start my period today, and it's a doozy. Oh, mama, call the cops. There's a crime scene. It is.
You ruined that Airbnb already?
I am not getting my deposit back. It is.
Which deposit?
I made several deposits in the Starbucks bathroom today. Does anyone else
Oh, you found the bucks already? That's great.
Oh, yeah. It's 0.7 miles away. Don't even think that I didn't walk 1.4 miles today already to get it. And come on back.
Come on back now.
Kirsten wanted me to bring this up on the podcast before I get to our gravestones. So on the girls' chat, we were talking about, I have a lot of friends that we do this girls' chat. And Kirsten was talking about how, like, in the days before your period, like, you just know it's coming, especially women that are kind of like plotting their fertility and like waiting for certain things. And like, you just start noticing, like, you're either dreading your period because it means you're not pregnant, or you're dreading your period because it means you're getting your period and like you're going to just like be a fart poop blood machine for a couple days and just feel disgusting. Like you're just, you are like
So
an
gross.
old sandbag of farts. I hate being on my period so much. So, but we were talking about the days leading up to it, and Kirsten was calling it a Jack in the Box because it's like you're just walking around town. It's like, dun, 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 like, and you're just like your boobs start getting heavier, then you start to blow out. Your Lululemon pants don't fit. Ooh, are you gonna start? And you keep like waiting, and it's just like, and then all of a sudden, like, you explode blood everywhere. And it's actually kind of, do you know, Andrew, how periods start? Do you think that they are like gushing, or do you think they start slow? What's your vibe?
I think you come out the gate strong. Brenna asked me the other day how many tampons I think a girl goes through per period, and I was way
I
off.
saw this question on TikTok, or I saw Hannah Burner.
It was
ask
Hannah
people
Burner,
it.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was way
Yeah.
off. I think I thought 7. Like, or
Yeah, no.
yeah.
In a day.
I didn't realize. Yeah, that's what's killing our oceans, I guess. I mean, that's a lot.
Oh my
of,
God.
And it's really expensive.
That's what I'm
It
thinking.
is.
It's got to be, and that's why you just got to.
Can you imagine poor fucking homeless women, or even like back in the colonial times? Like, what? I can't. What? I just also, speaking of like women's issues, I just saw an article about how there's like a bunch of people studying the clitoris now because it's literally never been studied. There's like no research on it.
Yeah.
And there was like a Washington Post article that had like some kind of quotes from the article. And it was a scientist guy that is like, of course he has pink hair, and he's like, has, like Rivers Cuomo glasses, and he's like studying the clitoris now. And I'm like, I don't know if I want this doctor doing it, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's like
and
Dr.
he,
Machine Gun Kelly. Yeah.
he said that he went to med school, and he goes, all we found out about the clitoris in med school was that it was there, like where it was. They're just like, is the existence of it. Nothing else. There's nothing else known about it. Like, we really are just like forgotten about. And I'm not expecting men to know everything about our cycles, even though I will say I'm fascinated by men's like
Lack of
their
knowledge?
penises, the like what is in a penis, what the like. I know everything, I feel like, about men's anatomy because I'm fascinated by it, but men are kind of just like, don't ask, don't tell.
I think
about
what it
vaginas.
is, and it's an immature way to look at it, but if our dicks were bleeding a lot, you wouldn't want to think, oh, I'm about to blow this thing that was just bleeding a ton. And I know that sounds bad, but I hate blood. Like, a lot of people hate blood.
Oh yeah, you're scared of blood, yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people just don't love blood unless you're a vampire or you're just a dirty little man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, blood, you just want to kind of compartmentalize. Like, there's the vagina for eating and fucking and doing great things, and then there's a time where it's bleeding, and it's like there's, you know what I don't know. I mean, it sounds bad. It's like, get over it. Get over
you
your
thought it would be 7 tampons for the whole time. And how long does a period last?
7 days.
No.
5 days.
I mean, really
5
heavy
days.
ones. Okay. Like, yeah, about 5 days. how
So I was thinking a Tampa day, or maybe 2 the first couple days.
okay, right. It's I mean, I guess
How
no,
many
what
do you go
about you?
through?
Like
What is the number?
I mean, today I've already been through 4 and I put one in last night and I'm on my 4th and it's 12:30 here. And so it's been a heavy
so
little
each time
day.
you bleed, so how do you know you have to get a new one? Is it just your
I
body
will
tells
say,
you?
like,
Or
I've said it, older I get, the more carnage there is down there. Dun, 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 dun. And it's
I guess
and then I would say tomorrow I'll probably go so today I'll probably go through like 6 or 7 and
Wow.
it's a heavy day. Tomorrow will probably be the same. The next day will probably be 4. The next day will maybe be 3, 2, and then
Can I
I'll
ask a
probably be done.
question? Because I
What?
want to learn more. The heavier,
That's me.
The heavier tampon, the super one, right? They come in like different modes.
Yes.
Does that
It's
hold
based
more
on the
blood?
size of your vagina.
Oh, it's
I'm
not
just kidding,
based off
not.
blood?
No.
Is it based
It's based
off
on the
blood?
blood.
It is
It
based
is.
on
No,
the blood.
it's based
so you
on
could.
blood. Yeah.
So could
Rick
you
Glassman,
technically?
did you see his video that he did? He was like he put like his camera on the tampon shelf and he like filmed
Oh yeah, I saw that.
him. You can see it on his Instagram, but he filmed himself like buying his girlfriend tampons, and this like hot girl walks by and he's like, "Excuse me, can you help me? I don't know what size to get my girlfriend." And she's like, "Well, what size is?" And he goes, "Her vagina hole." And she's like, "Yeah." And he was like, "It's pretty big." Like he was, he's joking about
Yeah.
girlfriend. But the girl was just, I think, so awkward. She kind of misunderstood what he was saying. Did you watch it, Noah? Weren't you like, that girl's got it wrong? It's not about your vag hole. Like if you buy super tampons, it does not. I mean, I'm guessing if you have a very, very tight vag, that is like, there's actually a term for it. It's a medical term where it's like your vagina is so tight you have to like stretch it, like you can't even have sex, and that's a different thing. But most women, I would guess those women would have struggle with a super tampon, but most women you can put any size up there and it's definitely, you're not putting a super up on a light day.
Do you have to buy? Could you buy less if you buy the super one and just let it fill up with more blood throughout the day, or do you need to get it out of there? Like, have you ever thought about the cost effectiveness of going with the bigger
No
one?
one wants to put a super because it's so much cotton, and like the worst part is like pulling out a dry tampon. You
Yes.
want it to be wet when it comes out. Like you want it to have like, and sometimes this is another thing about tampons that I don't understand. Sometimes you take it out and it will be leaking. Let's say like it starts leaking through. Noah's face is so funny. You are just
Sorry.
it's scrunched up like you just ate one of those warheads. You're just like, oh. But
I
sometimes it
understand
will
that
be
feeling.
leaking. It'll be leaking, and you'll go to take the tampon out, and you're like, oh, this thing is gonna be soaked to the bone. And you pull it out, and it's just one side has created a little channel, and the rest is dry. And Noah, have you ever had that where
It looks
leaks
like
through, but it's one side, and you're like, why didn't it use the other side before it started ruining
Yes.
my panties?
Or it looks like the top of a king cone ice cream. There's like the vanilla.
Like a Neapolitan kind of thing?
Nikki gets it.
It's so true. Like I just hate the ones though that are dry throughout, except a little trickle down the side. They found a channel and then they get to bleed through, and it's like you didn't use the whole thing. And tampon talk, we could go all day, but let's get to the news.
You heard it here first. Yeah, you heard it here first.
You heard it here first, folks. Apparently, you're having a good time out there. It's Tuesday. You know what that means? It is Tuesday. Hope you're having all the swells. Back to you, Noah, in Arizona, 72 degrees and dry.
Thank you.
Do you ever have
Andrew.
such ADD you forget if you took a pill literally 5 minutes ago?
Yes.
You were
Do you ever have that?
podcasting, so you didn't take
mean-
it.
But I think I may have. I have to like count them because I got these yesterday, so there would be 29 if I didn't. Do you ever have to do that? Anyway, Noah, tell us our news story while I count my spirulactinone so I don't get zits during my period. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So, efficient sex, which is also known as a quickie, in long-term relationships, leaves couples with lower arousal, longing for more desire, and having meh orgasms.
Quickies.
Yes.
quickies
Lead you to
because
have
it's-
low arousal.
low arousal,
like, yeah.
leaves couples longing for more desire, and the orgasms that they are having are just meh.
I feel like when you're
Yeah.
saying couples, it means the woman. Because I feel like the guy with a quickie, he comes, he gets his.
But you know what? Like, let's be honest. Part of sex is supposed to build intimacy with partners. And if you're having quickies, you're just getting, it's only part of the goal of sex, which is to come, is getting complete. Like, it is something that I require to, like, build trust and closeness and a bond with my partner. And if we're just having quickies, that is going to be completely left off the table. It doesn't mean that quickies aren't efficient, because sometimes I don't have the time for a bonding, really intimate sex sesh, and I just want him to get his, or for me to get mine, and call it a day. But yeah, that I feel like that checks out. But man, quickies, thank God for them.
Yeah, sometimes I like I'll avoid sex because I just want a quickie at the time. Not just maybe for selfish reasons, but like I just don't want it to be like a horror.
What other reason would there be?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Like if
Not
it's
just
too
for
long,
selfish-
I couldn't
like
check the
sometimes
stocks.
I want a quickie for her
Yeah, sometimes I want a quickie for me to come.
because
and
I've
for
been
her.
volunteering all day.
Yeah,
It's not for
yeah.
selfish reasons. I just want more time to go to the soup kitchen.
Oh, you saw I was going there? No, but yeah, yeah.
To eat soup
to eat soup before the
before the boat sinks.
No, but like I think I like avoid sex sometimes because it's usually a long session. Like maybe how do you like should I bring up the fact that I
Agreed,
would like
man.
to just be a quickie? Like you know what I mean? Like how
I do it all the time. Like yeah, I feel the same way. Like sometimes sex has to, like, it feels like my partner is such a giving person that I feel the need to, like, I have to come, and like I have to, and sometimes for me that's very hard to get to that place. Like it takes a lot, and it's going to take at least 15 minutes of foreplay or whatever. And then sometimes one isn't enough, and we want more, and I think the communication. Here's the thing that I want to put out there that I was going to try to make into a bit, but I think it is very relatable, and I want just to put it out there, because I was talking to my girlfriends on the girls chat, and I said, how often do you guys come during sex? Like every time? And they all were like, yeah, every time. And I go, oh, okay. And some of them go, actually not every time. And so I go, okay, so when you don't come, does your partner know that you don't come? And all of them said, no, he knows I don't come. And I go, really? So you tell him while you're having sex, babe, I'm not gonna come. And they go, no, well, no. And then we realized that women don't often say, babe, I'm not gonna come. Like, it's not gonna happen this time. And let me just say, every single woman, and probably a lot of men, feel this way, where you just know it's not gonna happen, or it's just gonna be too much effort and you just want them to get theirs. But you don't wanna say, babe, I'm not gonna come, because you can tell that they care about you having a good time, and that maybe it would cut the mood a little bit too much to in the middle of it say, I'm not going to come. Why don't you just finish up? So then women present an orgasm, which leaves the shadow of a doubt that you present, which we realize is that what girls do is they don't fake orgasms, because you're not supposed to do that, and we don't do that because we don't want to lie.
You leave it.
But we leave
it up to interpretation.
Exactly. Yeah. We do enough of a thing that if you asked us if we came, we would say no, we didn't come. But we know you're not going to ask.
Yeah.
But we grip the sheets in a way, we grip your arm in a way, we make a squeal in a way that is not insincere, because that squeal, it can happen outside of an orgasm. But we know that you might think that it's an orgasm, and that is enough. And we, instead of saying, babe, I'm not going to come, we might just amp up our enthusiasm to convince you in your head that a possibility of an orgasm has happened.
Yeah, fakey.
And it's not a fake, because if you were to ask us if we came, we would say no, we did not.
It's a
but
half
we
fake.
don't want
It's
you
a
to
pump
ask.
fake.
It's like it's a orgasm by omission. It's not lying, but it's not exactly saying I'm not gonna come. Do you know what I'm saying? Noah, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. And I want to tell you, and this was very helpful to me, to have a conversation about it. And I let Avi know, I'm like, I don't, like, sex for me is not always about the orgasm. Yeah, orgasm is the best feeling. But I think that's where like a time limit comes in, because I have a certain threshold, and after a certain amount of time, I'm just like over it. But I told him I don't have to come every single time we have sex.
Yes. That is a conversation I've had as well. But there is something about, I feel like sometimes, and thank God for men, by the way, that are like this, and I would have it no other way. I feel like it is important for a lot of men during sex to have their woman have a good time before they have their good time. And that is most of the men that I've been with have been very adamant about that. And sometimes I go, I don't need to go on this roller coaster. I will watch you from down here and I'll stand by the splash zone. So when you come down in the log, I get a little wet and I get a little bit of the fun, but that's what's going to be fun for me, is watching you have the fun, and I'll buy the little photo afterwards and we'll hang it on the fridge if you having a good time.
Yeah.
Andrew, any thoughts?
I mean, I think what happens is, if that conversation happens, hey, look, I don't need to come every time. I think it relieves the guy a little bit, because I feel like as a guy, there's so much ego involved of like, hey, I made her come. Oh, yeah, oh, she comes all right. Yeah. Or they'll ask you while it's happening, like, or right after it happened, like, you came, right? Yeah. And it's like more of like an ego thing.
Can we stop that?
Yeah.
Can I just, like, any men listening, either she did and you know it, or she left a gray area and it is up for interpretation. Do not ask if you don't want to know the answer. And do not ask if you don't want her to lie to you. I don't like that question afterwards. Like, you came, right? It's very insecure, because most of the time it gets asked, I go, of course I did. Like, what did you think that was?
Yeah.
Why do you think
You think I'm
there's
that
a
good of
wet
an
spot?
actor?
Yeah, you think I pissed the bed? Was that? Did I sit on a water
I think
balloon?
what it is, though, is like,
I
when a
came.
guy comes, you know for 100, like, everything, obviously.
If you have
like,
to
it's
ask,
so easy to know. Wait, are we going through clear?
You don't belong in this line. And it is clear. It's not P. TSAP or clear check.
Oh shit!
It all comes back around.
It really does.
I do love quickies, though. I really got to say, I think we talked about it before, but a man finishing up quickly is so flattering to me. I will never not feel very, very pretty after a guy finishes quickly. It always makes me feel like the belle of the ball. I'm just like, even if I wanted to come and they're just like, I can't contain it, even better.
Yeah.
I'm so hot. He can't help it. It feels amazing. Okay, we got to go to break, and we'll come back with some Reddit dump. I think that sounds like a good idea. Be back right after this. All right, let's get to it. It's time for Reddit dump.
Dump it.
This is your Reddit dump. All right, so it's Reddit time, everyone. And so last time we did top one bottom one a couple weeks ago, and we talked about the best songs to make love to. And at the time we were going through it, I remembered this Reddit post about a certain song that someone had written about. And I, in the middle of the segment, I was like, oh, I want to Google it, but it's just too late and it's too distracting. I want to be a part of the conversation. So I didn't look it up. But luckily, a bestie wrote to me and was like, dude, you got to see this subreddit about this whole topic about your top one, bottom one. And I go, this is it. This is the one I remembered. This is the one I would have looked up to share with people. So what happened on this subreddit? Noah, will you explain it? Because I don't have it in front of me, what this person said. This guy wrote in to Reddit.
This guy
with this tragic story.
Yeah, about how he played this song that he really, really loves. during sex and his girlfriend hated it. And he goes, it's like a whole like post and you feel so much sympathy for him. And then he goes, this is the song, by the way. And I think I could probably.
Yeah. And by the way, the guy's story was so sad. He was just like, I had no idea. I thought she liked it all along. Every time we had sex, we'd play this song. And everyone's kind of like feeling for this guy. And then he tells the song, and this is the song.
Okay, hold on.
It's also weird to play the same song over and over again every time you fuck.
This guy
Yes,
is, you
that
know,
was
is
a
probably
big part of it.
right.
Oh, there you go.
Here it comes. It's so bad.
Can you imagine? I agree with the girlfriend. What about you?
Wait, in the
That's
Reddit
a
post, he
chainsaw
said he
getting
would.
molested. That's what that is.
It's totally it. In the post, he said that he would thrust his hips in sync with the music. So just
I
picture a
get
guy like.
that.
This poor kid.
Does it have lyrics?
Wait, Noah,
No.
can you send me the post? Because I want to read some of the things that people wrote and like how devastated this kid was. The funniest part was how clueless this kid was, because he really was just looking for more of people being like, I can't believe she would do that to you, man. And then he just got fucking trashed in it.
If a guy puts a song like that on, how quickly
Yeah.
do you tell them, look, I know this might ruin the mood, but I don't want to fuck to this song. Like, do you tell them right away? I mean, it depends how many times you've had sex with them.
Oh, I mean, Andrew, you
would
went
tell
on
him,
a
yeah.
date with me once, and a guy said cool beans, and I told him right after he said it, did you just say cool beans?
That's a good point.
And he said, it was not right after, it was probably a minute, but I couldn't shake it, and the conversation had continued, but I went back to it, and I said,
Was that real?
what?
Yeah.
I go, was that ironic, or like, do you mean that? And he was like, I mean it, and I was like,
We're done
oh,
here. Yeah,
no.
this is over.
I really said, what did I say? I go, you can't do that. You got to get rid of that. You can't say cool beans.
He's like, you ruin your
So
vibes.
yes, I would start laughing immediately. So this guy's like, a little backstory. When I first started having sex, I researched into ways to be better as I was a little stiff. And da-da-da-da. I searched lovemaking songs and started slowly creating a playlist in which I was comfortable matching the rhythm. He said there are a few songs to my playlist. However, there's one song in particular which actually happens to be my favorite that my girlfriend hates. I don't understand why it's taken her 2 years to tell me she hates the song. It's a good lovemaking song with a good rhythm. I feel the way I fucked up is I could have possibly asked her previously if she liked the playlist or any songs she'd like to add or change, but to leave it for 2 years thinking our sex life is great, but in her eyes has just been ruined by my music, has left the whole situation feeling awkward, and I'm a bit annoyed. I pretty much played this tune every single time. So the amount of time she must have not been enjoying it when I thought the complete opposite is annoying but also embarrassing. So then someone wrote, no way can someone be this clueless. No way. I refuse to believe it. First, you shouldn't be playing the same song every time you bang. Second, it should never be the song. It's absurd that this was even thought of, joke or not. But it wasn't a joke. People go, I listened to the song and literally have tears in my eyes from cracking up. This poor guy.
Because I'm
I want to see
picturing
if
his
he
hips.
posted anything in response.
I'm just picturing his hips,
Yeah.
like moving to that beat. It's such a funny beat.
Well, a lot of people took it and like put it to different, like, you know, mimicked what it would look like
Yeah.
on TikTok, and it was really great. He said, okay, this exploded more than I expected and has been a bit overwhelming with the messages, but I thought I'd give an update. The attention hasn't been exactly positive, and this hasn't been the best thing to happen for my relationship, and now it's sadly ended. I didn't expect it to blow up so much. I should have used an anonymous name instead of my real name and our real ages. There aren't many 25-year-old Tyler Lifes who are in a relationship with their significant other for 2 years who is 20. Unfortunately, her younger sister recognized this and showed her parents, who weren't happy at all, and made the situation extremely awkward.
Oh,
Tyler.
man.
What made it more awkward and cemented the fact that it was me is that they recognized the song. Once at a family dinner, we were discussing music tastes, and my ex-girlfriend stated that I have an odd taste in music. Everyone laughed and pressed me to play something from my phone of what I like, to which I blessed their ears with CBAT, which is the name of the song, I guess. Her father laughed and said it was terrible. I guess we all have different tastes. Although I nodded in agreement at the time, I was thinking in my head that this is a great fucking song. We are over now and I am moving on. I already revealed my face on TikTok, but with the amount of hate I originally got, I decided to say I didn't have it and backtracked. I don't think the song is that bad, and I had no idea she didn't like it until recently. And as soon as I did, I stopped. I didn't force her. Not all can handle it. I know it's different. I know a lot have asked for face reveal and playlists. My playlist I actually burned onto a CD and have been using my CD player, but I'll go on YouTube and try a link to the songs. Yeah, so he wrote too long, don't read.
Player. What's he doing?
I mean, do you think this is real? This kid is like,
I don't know.
It's
It
so
sounds
sad
that
to
sounds
me.
fake. That part sounds
I'm
fake to me.
questioning.
Now it makes me question it all.
Really?
actually. The dinner thing, it just seems almost like too on the nose, a lot of these things. And then I burned it and put it on his...
You know, sometimes though, I think that things that are too, like,
On
if
the
they
nose,
were
it's
fake,
real.
it would be
Yeah.
more outrageous. Like, it would have been a funnier story than that. That was
that's
kind
when
of a
you're good.
pedestrian story. I know that
That's
is when you're good.
Here's the
God
thing. You
damn
know what would
it.
be really funny? Before we all have sex, the next time we have sex, let's put that song. Don't tell him. Don't tell your partner. Just put it on and be like, hey, yeah, maybe we can... and see how quickly. Let's all see how long.
Okay, I'll try it. Let's
Maybe
do
there's like a
what's the
Megadeth
song called
version for
again?
Noah or something. But
No, what's the song called
We
again?
should do this. It's called
Okay.
CBAT. Or wait,
CBAT.
yeah, by Hudson Mohawk.
Hudson Mohawk
And,
CBAT.
and I think
Okay.
the album
And all
is
our
Seven
listeners-
Panthers.
all the
Yeah, let's
listeners,
try it.
everyone do it.
Everyone
all the
do this
listeners
tonight.
do it too. Everyone, next time you have sex, put this song on and write to us and let us know how it goes.
All right.
That's the
That is
assignment.
that's the new challenge. Okay, so this next one is from Ask Men, and it said, "Men of Reddit, what is one thing that you keep from your significant other that could end the relationship?" And there were just some interesting answers that I kind of liked. Okay, one said, "I don't like her mother. To me, she's a bad person who tries to see the bad in others and who sees people who work as service as She's a person who sees people who work as service, retail, etc., as below her. I've yet to hear her say something nice about someone who isn't herself." If you felt that way about your significant other's parent, would you say something?
Oh, that'd be tough. I don't know if I could, because then you just have to live with that. And then every time you go and visit them.
Here's my thing. If you're in a relationship with someone whose mother is that terrible and terrible in like that around, I would hope my significant other would see it as well and kind of go, that sucks about her. And I don't know if I could be with someone who was so blind and like in love with their mother that they couldn't admit their mom was a stone cold cunt sometimes.
My argument
you know?
my argument would be, though, I've lived with it. I understand it. I'm self-aware enough to know it. I don't need to hear it from you as well on top of me having to deal with it. I think I
would
that would
want
be
to
annoying.
be
You wanna
able to,
talk
as a
about it.
couple, talk about it.
Yeah.
And process it. And I would also, if you have a mother like that, you're definitely going to have issues as a child that was raised by someone like that. And if someone's not acknowledging that their mom is terrible in that way, they're also probably in denial of what things about them that they got from their mom. Noah's nodding her head, and Andrew's screen went blank, so I can't tell what he feels. But thank you, Noah, for your co-signing on that.
I'm naked over here.
This is a great one. Okay, so so again, the question is, what is something if your significant other the one thing you could never tell your significant other? This person said, "The reason we are together today is because I called to reconnect a couple years after we broke up. I thought I was calling someone else." Would you?
Oh wait! Oh my
want to
God!
know
So
that.
then they got together on an accident. They got back
Yes,
together.
on an accident. Would you want to know that if you were that person who, the boyfriend or girlfriend accidentally called? But it ended up you got back together, but they did
you know
not
why?
mean to call you.
You know why I would want to? Because I think that's a beautiful serendipity kind of shit. Like that's actually
Yes,
kind of cool.
yes.
Like that's someone.
Agreed.
I don't. Yeah.
I
that's
wouldn't be hurt by that.
I wouldn't either.
Okay. I'm glad we agree on that. I would kind of want that story. I think it would be funnier. Even last night, Chris and I, by the way, have never made it. We've been together off and on for 9 years. And the biggest break we took was about 3 years. But even during that, we kind of were together at times. We have never been together during Halloween. We have never in 9 years.
So are you gonna do a
That
costume?
for some reason. I am so scared of this Halloween. Every Halloween, we joke about it like we've never made it. Like the first 3 times it happened, we would break up every day, like right before Halloween. We would have, parties planned, costumes planned, and we would never make it. So I'm not kidding you. I'm a little bit nervous. It's almost like a good plot for a movie. Final thought.
Wait, are you guys living together now then? There?
Yeah, we're living together.
Yes.
Whoa, that's like a big.
Yes.
We'll talk about that maybe tomorrow. We'll get
Well,
into
we
that.
lived together before, so it doesn't feel that big of a step.
Oh, I didn't know you did. I
and
thought you
this
always
place
had.
has a king bed.
Oh, okay.
It has a king bed. And so last night we
Welcome.
were, Chris even goes, welcome. It was really sweet. I was washing my face and he didn't realize how cute it was, but he goes, someday when people are like, what was the second you knew you wanted to be with her forever? I'm going to tell him when we first slept in a king bed together.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh, he's planning for that question in the future. It was kind of cute. And then when we were saying, I already planned the joke when we went to bed. I got in bed and we, rolled. He gets in bed and I go, good night, good night, good night.
Yeah.
I'll see you in the morning. And he loved it.
Yeah, it's
it
a
was
good
so
one.
good.
He probably thought of the
Okay.
baseball player Lou Gehrig with that. Did he mention that?
Really?
Maybe.
Why?
Why?
Because there's a famous speech where he goes, today, I consider myself, the luckiest man on the face of the earth. It's like a famous. when he
Until
was
they
retiring.
name that disease after
me.
me.
Which will
the
cause
worst thing,
you to talk like this.
choke
this,
on
this.
your own saliva, and that's
But-
how you die.
Die.
Okay, well that's sad. This continuing on this question for men about things they can't tell their significant other. Someone said our extremely high maintenance child has crippled our relationship. I really think we are both thinking this, but don't say it.
Oh, that's
Man,
tough.
that sucks.
Jesus.
You not talk about that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Why aren't people talking about things? But it's scary too. I get it. It's scary too. This one's I kind
How
of
do you
relate
even
to.
bring
If
that
I were-
up, though? How do you bring that up?
Can we talk about the fact that our kid kind of sucks
It's like
and it's
cunt.
hard?
Yeah.
And this wasn't what we expected it to be.
Yeah.
Like
Do you tell the
this-
kid?
Ugh.
Look, mom
I mean,
and dad
it's
have been
kind of the
dogging
same as
men.
mother-in-law. You kind of go, this sucks. Let's just unite in laughing about how much this sucks sometimes, I guess.
Or you find a solution to deal with it.
know?
I think a lot of
Yeah.
people try to have another kid and they're like, this one won't be high maintenance.
Oh man!
Then they get
Shout out
two
to
high
every
maintenance
parent
kids.
out there
Yeah.
who has kids
Shout
that are
out.
way more high maintenance than you thought it would be. I feel for you, and I see you. I don't see you because you don't go out much, but I feel for you. So this other person said, if I were to be absolutely honest, it would be the depth of my depression. My wife is great, but I don't think she can handle this. She doesn't know that I spent months last year crying every single day. I would find a few minutes to myself in the shower, in the bathroom, or just a few moments at work, and I just think about how hopeless things were and how unhappy I was. I keep fighting the depression, and most days are better than bad, but the bad days are soul crushing. I keep putting up a happy face because of our kids, but I'm afraid that this is going to crash me someday. That's very sad. And I think that's relatable. People that just can't, they don't think people will understand, or they think it will scare their partner. But I
Or
would
the partner
probably
will
recommend
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
disclosing that. I mean, it's been hard for me sometimes to tell my friends and family and my lover the depths of how bad my depression gets, but I found that they can handle it pretty well, or at least people can understand. Oh, I guess this guy is probably thinking that his wife will take it personally. He's
Yes.
depressed because of me.
Exactly.
He's depressed because of our kids. I did this to him, which is not how
He
depression
wants a different
generally
life.
works.
Yeah.
Right. But a lot of people gave him good advice. This is why I love Reddit. It's just such a helpful community.
Well, I guess if you look at it, if you do disclose it and you do put it out there, it will only get better after it's that awkwardness for the first 2 weeks where they think, oh, maybe it is me. If she's thinking, okay, it's the situation you're in, but you're just going to keep being depressed unless you disclose it. it's going to be awkward for the first
it's
month.
never. Well, she's just gonna. I mean, think of how many people their husbands just kill themselves, and they go, "I had no idea." And it's like, was that better than you maybe getting like scaring
Feeling-
them and going to
yeah.
a hospital or something? But I don't know. I felt that way before too. It's very tricky. Shout out to everyone who's depressed out there. I get it. Okay, so this is what we'll end on like a happier note.
You're like the saddest like DJ. Like shout out to depressed. Shout out to your high maintenance kid. Let me give a shout out to every girl that bleeds too much.
Listen, I got so many people are getting shout outs if they have birthdays, if they're getting married the next fall. I'm
love
sick
it.
of that.
Yeah.
Shout
let's
out
get
to all my people who are thinking of taking their own life in the shower tomorrow.
Hell yeah,
Shout
dude.
out.
Shout out, bro.
Because let me just say there's way more depressed people than there are people who are like Geminis or whatever.
Hope you're
Okay.
having fun. Next song, CBAT.
I already
Shout
forget
out.
it. It doesn't have a very memorable beat. Okay, so heading on a happy note, another thing a guy said that he can't tell his girlfriend or wife. Sometimes I watch shows we're watching together without her because she is super extroverted and wants to talk to me during it. It usually starts as discussing the plot details and always ends up involving into her trying to give an entire TED Talk. I enjoy having short exchanges of thoughts about the plot, but I prefer to watch and enjoy the story and then discuss it after. Okay, and then another guy right after that says, sometimes I watch shows alone because I want to enjoy things without each scene or line having a 75% chance of being followed by a sarcasm or a joke. I love her humor, but sometimes it will detract from things. I find sentimental or sad. I want to feel things too. And that one's from Chris Convey. No, I love sniping at shows. I love like talking to them, but I pause. But I also realize that ruins the momentum. I also acknowledge that if we're watching something like a Game of Thrones, I need to keep my trap shut and just let it. Like if it's something very important to him, I will know to not talk. But I can always tell when he's about to talk because he'll look to me and he'll just go. And then I know to just pause it and we go, what are you thinking? Like we have a good little shorthand now. I would not want to
like
know.
a director's cut kind of thing? Like
Yes.
where you're I don't this happened the other day and I think I put it into like cuz it was like I do it too though, especially if I want to get caught up. There's nothing worse than the guy that wants to get caught up or the girl that's like, "So wait, I didn't see the last episode. So tell me like where are they at right now?" And it's like, "Well, could you have asked me before the show started? Like, why is this happening here? Oh, that person sucks. And I'm sorry that I was that person the other night." We were watching, what's this movie? It was a scary movie, The Watcher. Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't. Yeah, we tried to download it yesterday. It's a miniseries, right?
It's on Netflix.
Right. So it's like multiple episodes.
Yeah,
So I don't think
like
it's a
8
movie.
episodes, yeah. It's
Okay,
a
that's
guy-
not a movie.
No, it's not a movie. Did I say movie?
You said movie. Yeah. But
They
I'm just-
ransacked the house. It's, yeah.
Okay,
Anyhow.
so is it scary?
It's like it's cheesy. I wouldn't recommend it. Although I love the
And you
main
didn't-
actor.
But the same guy that did Dahmer did it, right? Ryan Murphy.
Oh, really?
He has
I
the
didn't know that.
number 1 and 2 thing on
What?
Netflix. Yeah. Yeah, he's insane.
Well, yeah. So he's
Anyway, so it happened during it?
yeah, I didn't see like 3 episodes, so I'm like watching. I'm like, so wait, so who killed? So they showed up, and like, why is he there? Like, what happened there? And
Okay, so you're asking things because you are probably on TikTok too and kind of missing stuff, right? I'll never forget Andrew watching Narcos. And just as I'm in the kitchen, I'm just kind of like watching him watch Narcos, which is a subtitled, only Spanish-speaking show. Andrew does not speak Spanish well. And he is on TikTok and like getting distracted and won't even look up at the screen for an entire scene and doesn't rewind it to see what he missed. And I'm like,
I had no idea.
I can
when Pablo
understand
got
if
his
it was in
mustache,
English.
yeah. Like he used to have a goatee. That's weird.
All right, guys, we got to go. Thank you for listening to the show today. We'll be back tomorrow and Thursday. Don't even think we won't. Have such a good week or day. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then. Leave us a Fanthrax. We'll listen to them on Thursday. Don't be cool. And
Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay, I like it.
I
have
know
shows in
anymore.
Memphis coming up. I don't think that's anywhere close to that, but there you go.
Hey, something.
Buy tickets.
Buy tickets.